Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Casual AF, the gaming stream so casual, 90% of the time, I don't even turn on the video game. We might talk about video games. I'm Irving Twin, your host, and this is not Craig Bragg. This is the next 6 minutes. Six, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. And yourself? Did he freeze? I think he froze. Anyhow, how's everybody today? I'm currently watching a static picture of Irving Twin there. I don't know if he can hear me. I don't know if we're kind of talking talking over each other right now, but it's good to see everybody. There's a Craig Bag. He says first. I don't see anybody else in the chat right now, but just let me know if right now if Irving has frozen. Okay, there he is. Yeah, I was gonna say that was an amazing freeze of Irving there. Hey, Box, how's it going, man? Oh boy. So, welcome to Casual as Fuck. Here on the Canadian interwebs. I guess it does matter if you're working on the metric system or the imperial system. Imperial system supremacy. Hey, Craig, how's it going? Gosh, I didn't really have any stuff prepared. I was waiting for Irving to show up and start rolling on the subjects here. But I did carry the water while you were gone there in your freezy freeze. I guess
Thank
it
you
is
for
colder
covering.
in Canada.
Not nearly as cold as Kentucky right now, I just heard. That was wild.
What is
Pox,
it?
Craig in the chat. Hello. Yeah, Pox was just saying that it's like 21 Fahrenheit.
Wow.
We're still above freezing here. Of course,
Yeah.
we are in like the southernmost point of Canada, so that happens
Right.
from time to time.
Yeah, it doesn't usually hit the 20s until December here. And
Oh,
that's rarely. It's like 41 is going to be like your bottom.
yeah. I mean, well, you're Texas, right?
Yeah.
Nice lid. Yeah, check. Fucking where?
That's
Is that my
groovy.
dragons?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
6 decent seasons. Two seasons we won't talk about.
Oh, I was gonna say 2 decent seasons. Maybe 3, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did I miss? What
Well, I said hi to everybody. I made a few metric system jokes, as I do, as one does.
as one does. So yeah. This is a gaming stream, but before we do gaming or talking about games or news or politics, we typically do Wag Me. Six,
So
I
you're
know
gonna
you've
have
been busy, but have you been getting time to maybe if not hit the gym, do some physical workouts, like any kind of physical activity, running, push-ups?
I'd like to say I've been really diligent about this, that, and the other, but it's not much more than say a push up or two, a couple of times a week. That's about it.
It's better. It's more than most people, and it's a it's a good place to start. And yeah, you're writing. You writing a lot lately,
Yeah,
and strangely, you should do physical activity to help with your writing. It's going to sound weird at first, right? Except if you're writing, especially at a computer, you're probably sitting in a chair
yeah,
that's really not good for your back, especially if
no,
you're writing for hours at a time. So getting up, doing some stretching, doing some push-ups, calisthenic work, maybe a jog or a brisk walk can really help keep you in shape so that your body doesn't start to ache just from sitting in the chair all that time. And brain's an organ, needs blood and oxygen. Exercise is the only way to make sure that you're increasing the blood and oxygen and maximizing the flow of oxygen into your brain. Yeah. So thinking people who say, "Oh, you're physical fitness, I'm busy in a lab and I do so," shut up, loser. You're stupid if you don't fucking go your brain needs that physical exercise.
Take off the lab coat, do some push-ups.
That's right. So yeah, keep it in mind, like when you're like, "Oh, fuck my back from the chair." It's like, "Oh, you know why? Because you didn't do any push-ups today."
Right.
Yeah.
And I do need to get better about that, because that's certainly when I was still doing a lot of physical stuff during the day, it wasn't as much of a problem because I was doing a lot of physical stuff during the day. So I would come home and just be like, "Hey, I did physical stuff during the day." But since I haven't been doing the same sort of stuff, I felt there's a meh.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a meh in your body. It's just So actually, since you're spending all that time writing and you're at the desk, like you're at your computer seated, I know, because I've tried to write, believe it or not, it did not go well. That there are times where you're poised over the keyboard, staring at the screen, and nothing's happening, and it's not happening for several minutes.
Let me tell you, Irving, have you heard about the 45-minute paragraph?
Yes, I am familiar with the 45-minute paragraph. Oh my God.
I can tell you the stories, Irving, of the 45-minute paragraph where I'm just sitting there. It's like reading this over. This sounds so stupid.
But good news. That means you are the perfect candidate for a concept called volume over time. Right? I've explained this to people before. Can you do 10 push-ups? Yeah, I guess I could do 10 push. Okay, we'll do them. Like right now. And then an hour from now, when you have the 12 seconds it takes to do 10 push-ups, do 10 more. So when you're seated at the computer and you're just staring, you're like, "Oh, fuck, okay, I'll do some push-ups." And it might actually not only get the blood flowing, keep your back healthy and your brain oxygenated, it might actually be the snap out of phase, like you're locked into something. If you change your mindset and then go back to it, it might be the thing you need to actually get your gears turning and actually move forward with your writing. But you could do this all day, and before you know it, you're going to be doing 200, 250 push-ups a day. And it doesn't have to be push-ups, jumping jacks, do some squats, do whatever. Just take 30 seconds every.
I live on the second floor, so jumping jacks are out. But everything else, push-ups, sit-ups,
squats, wall sits, planks, like whatever. Just change it up. And it's not like you don't have the 30 seconds, right? Like you do. You can always make 30 seconds. So yeah. And yeah, you'll find yourself suddenly looking in the mirror going, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Because you realize, like the same way when you're doing your physical job, right? And you have a lot of physical activity, you don't even think about it. You're just always doing something. You're always engaging those muscles, right? So
Craig is saying he was able to work out twice while he was on vacation. Humidity air is making it hard to breathe. Yes, that's something that when you get closer to sea level, especially if you're in Texas, there's a large portion of Texas that is very humid, and that's because of its proximity to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of humidity, and that's gonna affect how you do things, what your physical exertion is going to be like.
Yeah, there's a couple of tricks and techniques to keep your core temperature down. Like you take something cold and put it against this patch of skin on your forearm, because that's a very thin patch of skin, and there's an artery right underneath it. So what's going to happen is all the heat is going to pass from your blood through that very thin skin and get drained out by the cold thing. And you're actually sending cooled blood back into your core to pull out more heat from you to be deposited through here. And in less than 90 seconds, all of your blood will pass through this and start to cool off. So even though your skin will still feel hot and you'll still be sticky from humidity, all of the little things like, oh, I feel a little foggy, oh, I feel sort of tired and like heavy, all of that just goes away like instantaneously. You can literally fight off fainting from the heat by doing this.
It's interesting you should bring that up because from what I understand, there is a method that for people that work outdoors in the cold, that they do a lot of like intricate things that is difficult to do with heavy gloves on, is that they actually wear something like a bracer that has a heating pads in it, and that's enough heat is produced at that point in the forearm that it heats the hands to a point where it makes it comfortable to work even in that colder environment without wearing gloves.
That's really neat, actually. And I wonder if the heating source is actually placed on the inside of the wrist on the artery so that blood is being pushed directly into the fingers, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. Yeah.
So I would like to purchase something like that because sometimes I do like to do stuff outside and during the winter time or what passes for winter here.
I was going to say winter must be your favorite day of the year.
Winter here is like a slightly more aggressive fall, which is in turn also a slightly less aggressive spring. Yeah.
Basically, it's just 2 dirt summers in a row.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, no, I tell people the story of you. My buddy, my friend Six, every 3 to 5 years, he posts a video of how it snowed for like 10 minutes. Guys, look, snow. This is crazy.
Yeah, it happens so infrequently here. It just fascinates me. I mean, I get fascinated by freezing rain. That's how
Actually,
infrequently.
The videos you have posted of the freezing rain, when you get freezing rain, you get good fucking freezing rain. Like,
oh yeah,
like a layer of ice on literally everything. It is pretty good.
Candy coating on the entire freaking city.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. I like that. Yeah.
Glistening. But what sucks is that I live on the second floor and getting down the stairs is a bit problematic because there was a point in time where my apartment complex was really good about throwing things like sand and salt on the steps of people that live on the second and third floor. We were put under new management for a while, and they were not as good about that. So I would go out there after a freezing rain and just look down my steps, and they're just glistening, this glossy sheen. It's like, fuck. So I hold onto the railing, dear life.
Yeah. No, I mean, like it's deadly. Just say somewhere like here in Toronto, we're better prepared for it. Like,
yeah, you guys know what you guys are doing. So
yeah, I mean,
Texas, we don't know.
Midsummer, I've still got 2 or 3 bags of salt in the garage. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like, yeah, just gotta have salt.
Yeah. So I took to a little bag of rock salt that I keep around for those kind of situations. So I'll just put it on myself and grind it down with my heels as I go. And then by the time I get back from work, then it's all nice and melted.
Yeah.
I don't bust my ass trying to get to work.
Bust your ass, your fucking skull. Like, that's the worst part. You go out, your head goes down. Like, it's really dangerous. People are, but best part, 1 bag of salt will last you the rest of your fucking life.
Oh yeah. So, but interestingly enough, the holding onto the railing for dear life is a bit of a workout and kind of fits with the theme of the current segment.
Oh, for sure. Right, because now at this point, form is everything. One misstep with your form and down the stairs you go, right? Like, yeah, it's
I have to really concentrate on my hand and forearm strength as I clutch onto one little bar after the other as I make my way down to the end of the bottom of the stairs.
Okay, so here's my "we're all gonna make it" story for the evening.
Oh,
I actually was telling you just before we got started. So I am a fan of the next 6 minutes, and he designed a shirt basically special for me, a special request shirt that's still available. Oh yeah, if you can find the link to your merch stuff. You should put it up. So I
I
have
have
this.
it. I actually gave it to you on Twitter.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say let's put it in here, right?
Yeah.
Um, So I have a shirt that's in the style of Tron, the Flynn Lives shirt that the son is wearing at the end of the movie.
Hmm.
It says Six Lives, and I got this. You're convinced it's more like 4 years ago instead of 2 or 3. I
Yeah.
believe you. Uh, I was much smaller then. I know I always like my t-shirts a little snug, but I've literally put on 20 some pounds of muscle since then, and this shirt doesn't even fit anymore. Like I like the sleeves are rolling up like this, and the neck is like distended, and it won't stay down at my belt because I'm like, and I'm not even like big, I'm just bigger, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Irving got
holy
them
shit.
gains. He got them
Yeah.
gains. He's swole. He's been drinking them shakes. He's
So
going
that
natty. You going natty? You're going natty. I hope you're going natty.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, yeah, putting on 20 odd pounds took about 2 years.
Yeah.
So, like that's not an impressive amount of weight, except for the fact that I'm 40 odd. So that's not too shabby.
Yeah.
I'm pretty pleased with it. On the other hand, I need to get a new shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would not feel bad about you sending me some more cash there.
Yeah, no, don't worry, you'll get it. Uh, bitch better have my money. Ah. Oh, and to Craig, we figured out the problem. We can get those books. We just have to use Amazon.ca and they'll ship to us.
Yeah, and this is because it's something that I had discovered because I was going to try to send a copy overseas, very much overseas, like as overseas as one can overseas in this planet,
Over
um,
all the seas.
over all the seas, and I was trying to find a way to do it, but I couldn't figure out how to do it because it wouldn't let me do it. So I had this clever idea. Well, why don't I just use the Amazon of that country that I'm trying to send this to, and it would let me. Unfortunately, it was expensive as hell. It's like, oh damn it. So ebook was the route that was taken then, because sometimes sending things to the other side of the planet is prohibitively
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like like fucking Australia. No, the joke I was making is it's literally easier to send it to another planet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it probably more cost effective. Uh
Sending it to Mercury or Venus,
mhm.
much cheaper, much cheaper, probably a lot faster and more efficient.
Yeah. Australia, slightly less dangerous than Venus. Oh, okay, so do we have topics? We have topics.
Yeah, we have topics. So I have a few myself, but I would like to hear from Irving first.
Oh, just, our prime minister is a fucking joke. What a laughing stock. And yeah, some of that, there's still the pro-Palestine or anti-Jewish protests are going on in Toronto and Montreal. And now, of course, Antifa felt like they can't be outdone, so they had a protest for fucking something.
Yeah, who
And
knows? They're just angry on principle.
Ezra Levant of Rebel News, a Jewish journalist, got arrested for basically journalism. He literally didn't even say anything to anybody. He just walked over to the protest with a camera and a microphone, and they arrested him.
Justice
You're
for
preaching
Ezra.
peace.
Yeah.
Just
I
nuts.
like to say, the way I describe Justin Trudeau is like this: is that he's not so much a prime minister as he is a guy playing prime minister for a made-for-TV movie. One that airs in the afternoons, not prime time.
Oh, that's literally like Canada is not a serious country. It's a made-for-TV country.
Yeah,
That's
it's like 11:30 in the morning, Hallmark Channel made-for-TV movie country.
Yeah, just ridiculous. And yeah, Justin Trudeau had said something about there was some, I don't know, international court nonsense, basically saying Benjamin Netanyahu has to be arrested. And so Trudeau had said if he comes to Canada, he'll have to arrest him. And now the Palestinian protesters are demanding the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
Like,
Yeah.
why do you keep making me side with Jews?
Oh well, hey, it's the it's the homie that you know. It's versus the homies that you really don't know, and we don't really know exactly the Antifas and the Palestinian protester people, because they're just angry on principle.
Yeah, like I mean,
they're like Greta Thunberg after like the third foamy latte.
well, okay, so here's something. I was thinking about this because Craig and I will have these conversations every once in a while, but he's not a Christian. You're a Christian man, Six.
Yep.
And you know, he'll talk about Christianity. I keep reminding him Judeo-Christian's not a thing. Some people will say the Abrahamic faiths, including Islam, right? And I keep saying, nope, that's not really things. Like Christianity is so separate from the other two because it basically refutes the other two. So to say that they're like in the same vein or whatever doesn't make any sense. And I know that this is often used as like a derogatory term, but referring to them as the Desert Trilogy is the only thing that really makes sense, because outside of that like regional origin, they don't really have much in common. And as with any trilogy, the second one is the best and the third one is crap.
Yeah, or the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy. So the way I like to describe myself is like this: I am an old world New Testament Christian.
Old World, New Testament.
So yeah, you have Christians that subscribe to the New World framework, the new world idea of the world's only like 10,000 years old. I'm not one of those guys. I'm one of those guys that actually will actually acknowledge, yeah, we live on a planet that's billions of years old, and there's just some shit that has worked out the way it has because it has. And I'm not one of these guys that focuses. I recognize the Old Testament as a historical reference, historical resource, and contextualizer for a lot of the things in the New Testament. But it's not my main focus because I don't I don't see it as part of the new covenant that came later
Right.
with the Messiah. So that's just the way I look at it. Is that I'm an old world New Testament Christian.
Yeah, like there's Old Testament often points to the New Testament as in like prophesying the
Right.
coming. But other than that, it's not super important. And you're right. Yeah, like the new covenant, because I can't remember the exact passage, but where Jesus basically says, yeah, I haven't come to destroy the old covenant, but to fulfill it.
Right.
And a covenant is actually another word for like a contract. So if a contract is fulfilled, that means it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesus comes, fulfills the old contract, and creates a new one with us. So the old one is gone.
Right.
Like it's just finished, and now we have, the renewed contract with the new negotiation.
Yeah, the
And
way I like to look at it is that the Old Testament is like going to history class, and the New Testament is like going to physics class. It's it's you go from a historical setting to a more of a contemporary, hands-on, functional, nuts and bolts sort of mode, for lack of a better description.
Sure.
That's the way I see it.
I know people have their issues with Jordan Peterson pox, but I do like the way he describes it, right? That the Old Testament is for a much older, or rather earlier civilization in its youth. And what do you do with a child in their youth? Is you give them all the don'ts. Don't run in the house, or no, don't play ball in the house. Don't run with scissors, right?
Yeah.
But as they get older, it's like, okay, well, I know what not to do. Now, what do I do? So the New Testament is for a more mature civilization, and here's all the do's, right? Do look out for each other. Do protect the weak, shit
Yeah.
like that. Do be a virtuous person, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Now, I
The
do
Old
want to.
Testament is more like primary school, and the New Testament is closer to university.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, we're growing up. Civilizations grow up so fast. Okay, now hold on. Craig's going full conspiracy mode. I love it. Patrick Bet David podcast with a former child sex slave. Turns out she was trafficked to Pierre Elliott Trudeau. His fetish was choking kids to death. This is probably going to be real hard to actually prove, but I mean, considering some of this shit we hear about politicians, Hollywood, the music industry, I would not be surprised.
I will say Pierre Trudeau is a very interesting, and I've had this theory for years, is that Pierre Trudeau's is actually the third brother of Fidel and his what's the other one's name?
Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, the guy who took over after Fidel passed, right?
Yeah. So I have this theory that Pierre is the third brother, and that's why Justin looks like Fidel Castro.
That's weird because Pierre doesn't look anything like Castro, but Justin really does. I mean, I don't discount it. I'd like to see your your like all your strings on the board connecting.
My sonny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the best. You know why? Because they're often real.
Yeah.
They're often real good. It's not my fault. You don't know the joys of a filthy penis.
Oh, boy.
It's terrible that everybody knows exactly what that means. Like, okay, yeah. So at a Bilderberg event, sure. He wasn't interested in her because he wasn't allowed to unalive her. Like, yeah, like, I mean, I have no evidence to support this, yet I believe that claim outright. Like,
Yeah.
pardon me, with stuff like this, I do it backwards. It's like until they prove that no, he didn't murder children, I'm going to go ahead and believe he did.
Oh yeah, it's like the damn Kardashians, where every time you hear some fucked up story about them, it's like I don't know if there is any proof out there, but I can kind of believe it.
Well, I mean, the rumors abounded for a long time. Like, God, is it already almost 20 years ago when Corey Feldman was trying to blow the whistle on the Hollywood
Oh yeah,
like rape parties and shit? And the ladies on the talk show were just losing their mind on him, and he fell into the background for quite a while, and now it's coming out more and more.
yeah.
Like, I mean, really, the Me Too movement exposed quite a few people, but mostly in this weird way where, oh no, we regret having slutted it up for roles. And then it turns out that it goes way deeper. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, we hadn't even gotten to Epstein and Diddy yet.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know what's we're not hearing anything about the Diddy. Where is the Diddy? Is he still in jail? Is he still alive?
The last I heard, he's been trying to get bailed out, but they're not letting him. And there's that business where the prosecutors found that stuff in his cell where he was planning to harass witnesses, and they his defense team tried to get that shit thrown out. But problem is that, well, even if they did get it thrown out, this dumbass was on the jail payphone saying the same sort of shit that he was. It was the same sort of stuff that was found in his cell. So he was confirming through his own dumbass.
Yeah.
Because that the cops listen in on every conversation that prisoners have.
They say they can listen in on every conversation, but they only listen in on a few because they don't have the manpower. But of course, Diddy's one of the ones that are going to listen to every phone call.
Yes. Oh boy. So you brought up Corey Feldman, and I was watching something that there are a lot of Hollywood people that are very evasive when stuff is brought up about Diddy and Epstein and stuff like that. And so some reporter ran into Feldman while he was out shopping, and they asked him a question, and his response was different. That he was looking forward to the Trump administration, and was very supportive of Trump, and I think he had actually voted for Donald Trump. And one of the key reasons is, and this is something that I point out is as often as I can, is that in my opinion, a large thing behind the whole 2020 stolen election stuff was because in the months prior to the 2020 election, what was Trump really hyper focused on?
I don't recall what.
He was really hyper focused on human trafficking.
Well, yeah, didn't his administration recover more missing children than like the previous 10 administrations combined?
Bingo. And it's my opinion that I've held for years now, that one of the key motivations for the Democrats doing what they did in 2020 was because they understood what Trump was trying to do. And that
cut off
was
their adrenochrome supply.
Really fuck over the whole human trafficking thing. Yes. That's
sorry, I don't mean to laugh about it. No. Yes, cut off the human trafficking thing. But the crazy, wild conspiracy theory is the adrenochrome thing that I also outright believe. Like, yeah, till proven otherwise, I believe it's the adrenochrome. And after having cut off the adrenochrome supply to people like Joe Biden, he fell apart. It was too late. He aged too much without enough adrenochrome that even getting the adrenochrome back could not save him.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody wants to know why we have that little graph that was put out just days after the election about, you saw that one, the bar graph where 2020's 81 million votes. So now you have an explanation of why that was necessary for the Democratic Party. And that's because so many of them were in allegedly Canada, up to their ass in Epstein and P. Diddy.
Mm-hmm. No, and I mean,
just scratching the surface.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, here's some numbers that I don't know I can't remember the details off the top of my head, but during the Biden administration, it was something like 11 plus million illegals coming across the southern border over 4 years. Millions of them are children, and 300 plus thousand of those children are gone.
Yep.
Well, they had to make up for all the hundreds of thousands of children saved by Donald Trump, right? Like, they had to restock.
So you ever heard of the movie Jupiter Rising?
Yeah, fuck. Wait. Oh no, wait. Okay, I don't know if I saw it.
It's an actually surprisingly decent for the kind of bullshit premise that it was built on. Film, a science fiction film starring Mila Kunis. It also had what's his face, Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I have seen it. Why don't I remember it?
Okay, so one of the subplots about that is that the reason that they have this super advanced alien human race has so many of these satellite planets that they establish is because they use the populations of those planets to harvest a certain biological element that they use to keep themselves young.
Sorry, that's extra dimensional aliens that harvest our loosh. Okay, sorry, go on.
So yeah, it's sort of an analogy for, in my mind, the adrenochrome. It's kind of like one of those movies where they telegraph, oh yeah, that's what they're up to. And yeah, so there's is it Jupiter Rising or Jupiter Ascending? I can't remember which. I haven't seen this movie in years, but
one or the other. But that's right. I'm getting it confused with Jupiter's Legacy, which was the cool series on Netflix, I think, about superheroes.
I didn't see it.
I really liked it. And then they canceled it because it was so bloody expensive and nobody on the set liked each other, apparently.
That'll do it.
But I was a big fan of it. And I think there is some like further source material later, but we're getting too far away from this. So I imagine this is one of the topics you wanted to discuss then, that we just sort of walked into it. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Because Craig is talking about Kash Patel for FBI director, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Do you think that he's going to be the kind of guy that's going to be able to go after people like this, Schiff, Clinton, Biden, Weiner, Raskin, and are they involved with this Epstein, Diddy, child trafficking nonsense?
I can't say I know too much about the man himself, but if he's better than Mueller and will actually do his fucking job and not try to sell out, or Comey, and try to sell out Donald Trump and his administration like those other bozos did, that would be interesting. And I would certainly buy some popcorn to watch that show.
Yeah, see, I don't know much about Kash Patel. Like, I don't think I'd heard of him before. Oh, he's going to be FBI director. That's a wonderful pick. Is it? I have no idea. Craig says he's a Trump loyalist. Okay, that's good. That's good. A little off topic. I know there's some appointments happening that people are like, oh, no, I don't like that because he's not a Trump loyalist or whatever. Or, he hasn't been, has been. But sometimes that's what you want.
Yeah.
Is someone who was against you, because now you can forgive them. And in forgiving them, you sort of earn that forever loyalty because they can't fuck you over now. If they were to try, it would reflect so badly on them that no one would ever trust them again. Some great leaders were good at this, bringing their enemies to the table and making them their allies. And that's it. It's like, yep, you're with me for life now because no one else will trust you again, right? So, even something simple like, somebody, I knew a guy worked for someone. He would do the deposits at the end of the day. One day, the deposits didn't get in the bank. And the boss, known him for like 10 years, confronts him about it. Yeah, I took it. Forgives him. That guy worked 12-hour days, 6 days a week for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Yeah.
It's like a mafia. I own you now.
Pretty much, like, oh, Costin. Craig Bragg sounds like the next 6 minutes. Nice upgrade.
So I am you're working on the imperial settings tonight.
So I don't know, where do you sit on the adrenochrome conspiracy?
So a bit of background with me as far as conspiracy theories go. Back in the 90s, this is back in the 90s when our good friend Alex Jones was still a very young pup. A friend of mine brought over this VHS, and this was somebody that he had been following for quite a while by then, but it was the VHS. This would have been like 98, maybe 99. And it was Alex Jones, and he was particularly upset about the UN and national parks. So he was going around and looking at like the headquarters of all these national parks, and a lot of them, he would find logos on the buildings for the United Nations, and that struck him as odd. Is that the United Nations would have any involvement in our national parks?
Yeah.
So that was the subject of that particular VHS. This would have been before the whole 9/11 stuff.
Which, strangely, Alex Jones predicted like 2 months in advance.
Yeah, something like that. And so when 9/11 happened, I was one of those guys who was like, I'm not as shocked as everybody is around me because I've been listening to this stuff, that stuff coast to coast. There was Jack Blood. That was another guy that we used to listen to. Dave Von Kleist. That was another guy that we used to listen to.
Did you get A View from Space?
I don't know if I'm not familiar with that.
On the radio station that ran the coast to coast stuff, they would run A View from Space after it, right? At least where I live. So I don't know, maybe like.
No, I didn't really see. Yeah. A lot of stuff that we didn't listen to a lot of stuff live. We used to listen to like archived stuff. Really wild shit. This was back before George Norrie took over. This would have been with Art Bell.
Oh, before Norrie. Okay, yeah.
So that this would have been Art Bell, and one of the really interesting, and you can find a lot of shit about this now, but people were just learning about this very interesting story about Mel's Hole. We'll get to the adrenochrome thing here in just a second, but I wanted to briefly talk about Mel's Hole. So Mel's Hole allegedly is this interesting feature up in like Yakima, Washington State. There was on the land of this guy that had owned this land for years and years and years. And so according to native legend, there is this bottomless hole on his land that has these weird sort of supernatural things about them. There was an interesting story where the guy, his dog died, and he threw his dog's body into the hole because he didn't want to dig a hole. And the next day, there was an identical dog running around.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah. And another story told that there's this column of black light that was shooting up into the sky from the area where this hole was. Another part of the story is the guy he was an avid fisherman, so he had a lot of this fishing line, and he wanted to test to see how deep the hole was. And there's a method that some people use for testing, where like when they're digging wells to see where the water level is, so they would tie like a lightsaber, the candy, at the end of the line. So he got this bunch of fishing line and he ran it down the hole, but it's at the end of the line. It was like it doesn't seem like it's hit the bottom yet. So he added another spool, and he kept after it, using spool after spool after spool after spool. And his calculations was that after like multiple spools of line that he tied, went down there, the depth of this hole was deeper than the Mariana Trench.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit about this Mel's Hole thing.
We're looking at what is that in miles? Almost 7 miles, right?
Yeah, that's deeper than the hole the Soviets drilled into the.
Yeah, the deepest hole ever drilled. Yeah.
So if any of that, if none of that is bullshit, then that's a hole in Washington, and it's a rabbit hole to go down to. And from what I understand, that's not the only one of these holes in the United States. There's actually another hole somewhere that somebody found, and there's some interesting shit about that too. So that's that's a rabbit hole, literally, that you can go down sometime and check out Mel's Hole and the other hole, because it's a whole lot of fun if you're into that sort of spooky, cryptid, creepypasta kind of shit.
I see what you did there. Whole lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I'm a bit of a wordsmith, didn't you know?
Okay. But is this going to tie back to the adrenochrome, or?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because a story like the adrenochrome thing is certainly something that I would expect to hear listening to a lot of like Art Bell and the kind of stuff like that. So I sort of look at it sort of in the same sort of category. It's like, yeah, it could be bullshit, but if it's real, yeah, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it, because it's so fucked up, the culture of the people that seem to be surrounding adrenochrome. And I look back at the 90s to like the John Benet Ramsey thing, and I think to myself, holy shit, does it extend that far? Could they have been part of this whole fucked up population in politics, business, and entertainment? Could there have been some sort of tie between John Benet Ramsey's parents and the Epsteins, even then, in the late 90s?
Well, I might have my timeline wrong. In the late 90s, Epstein was basically just getting started, right?
Yeah.
So
but you have to, yeah. Now, we have to understand that people like Epstein may be sort of a recent thing, relatively speaking, but the type of eyes wide shut sort of shit goes back like centuries.
Yeah.
There have always been groups like this that do the shit that they do. And Epstein, P. Diddy, they're all a recent incarnation of that same kind of system of craptasm, for lack of a better word. So in the whole adrenochrome thing, it could be real. It could be real. We live in a fucked up enough planet that is just weird enough that it could be real.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's also some weird stuff that's happened where, like, it's now actual science that taking the blood of young people and injecting it into old people makes the old people young again, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, their
It
energy
does.
increases and, like, they think better and, like, it's and the studies in mice are showing, like, more drastic results because, well, for some reason, they're allowed to abuse mice as long as it's science. Uh, but yeah, that,
Uh,
like, who's that guy who's trying to stop aging entirely, and he takes his son's blood? His son
I,
donates blood to him.
I don't know.
Someone's gonna know. Someone in the chat will know.
Yeah.
But he, like, yeah, takes like 200 supplements a day and eats only kale, and he's already super rich, so he can just, like,
You can afford all the damn kale he wants.
yeah, like, but, like, build his own indoor gym and never be in the sun because the sun ages your skin and shit, and, like, and he actually doesn't really look that good.
Yeah, it's these guys they come in to that kind of funding, and they start this shit way too late because they're so arrogant they think they're invincible, and then they get the first gray hair. It's like they're fucking Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka. It's like, oh fuck, I'm not living forever. I gotta give the chocolate factory away.
But I just, like, yeah, it's weird because, like, it's just vampirism.
Yeah.
Like, vampires are real, stealing the life force of the young, like, yeah, robbing the cradle to slow the grave, kind of thing, right? Like,
So it's
adrenochrome.
vampirism with extra steps.
Yeah. The science of vampirism, like, it's it's fucking terrible, and I don't doubt that, yeah, people have believed this for centuries, and now they have scientific ways to do. Oh my god, what's some beauty procedure that Hollywood women use where, like, oh yeah, there's these little injections they put in my face, and what are the injections? They're literally the foreskins of circumcised infants.
Oh god, that's worse than Botox.
But, like, it sounds like that's fucking ridiculous. It's real, and it's not even, like, hidden. It's it's not a secret.
Oh
This is not a
man.
conspiracy theory. This is a real thing.
I guess it breathes new life into the insult dick face.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of foreskins and dick faces, the guys were asking, am I going to talk about it?
Oh dear.
Guys, I looked. I had to look. I didn't want to look. I just, like, there's the posting of the video. There's all these comments, and the only way for the comments to make sense, I had to look, right?
It has a sort of a gravitational what the fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a train wreck. My favorite comment of all of it, and for anyone who's not up to speed on this, there's video of Destiny, the infamous internet debater, and disgusting leftist, sucking a dick. And my favorite comment on this video is, "Wow, for someone who has a penis, you'd think he'd be better at that."
Oh my gosh. He's much better at debate than sucking dick. Fact has been established.
It just, oh man, let me see if I can.
But which makes his whole wife ditching him for the Swedish mountain climber thing a lot more understandable.
I mean, yeah, leaving him for literally anybody else makes a whole lot of sense here.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, man. Like you've heard those weird stories about, your girlfriend will tell you how much she cares for you and she wants you to share your emotions, but if you ever cry in front of her, she'll never fuck you again.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what happens if she sees a video of you sucking someone's dick? Like, what the hell? How are you supposed to come back from that one, right? Like,
she's gonna be shacking up with the first Amazon driver that shows up at the door. Oh my gosh. Insofar as the rumors of whose phallus was being serviced. So are you in the that was Fuentes camp?
No, I don't think it was Fuentes. Like, look at this skinny little dude, and if you've seen the video, Fuentes, the guy's chubby. So I'm pretty certain it's not Fuentes, but I saw this, someone showed me this picture, and my first thought was, holy shit, Fuentes looks like the cat who stuck his dick in the canary's mouth.
So, hypothetically speaking, if Fuentes was the recipient of Destiny's ineptitude, which of these two is the top and which of the two is the bottom?
Well, I mean, someone was saying, look at the way that Destiny is sitting, and then Fuentes has to lean over onto one side because he can't sit straight. But then I'm like, well, look at this poor guy eating the ice cream to soothe his throat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, he didn't have a bag of Vicks, so he's got to work with what he's got.
Wild, just wild. Oh,
and hey, you know what? If it is so, then certainly we'll have to reevaluate the political model of horseshoe theory, because it seems as one end of the horseshoe has gone all the way and is now touching the other end in very very lascivious ways.
If you go too far to the right or left, you will fuck a man.
Figure A.
Oh, yikes. Wow.
That's funny. So, well, hey, look, all right. So they're healing the political divide. They're coming together, far left, far right. How can we repair political relations in this world? Well, hey, I got an idea. Oh boy.
Well, I also heard that this is like not actually that uncommon for people who got like pseudo internet famous during that era in which they did that. Basically they converted all of that popularity into degenerate sex parties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Just look at fucking Ethan Ralph. Holy fuck. Boogie 2988. Holy fuck.
Dude, okay, like Ethan Ralph, I don't even like I'm only hearing it from the sidelines, and I keep thinking to myself, man, I thought I was bad about getting wasted on my own streams, and like just pouring whiskey all over my own stream and burning it down. What the fuck is going on with that guy?
Yeah, it's like Ethan, Ralph, Nick Rekieta, and fucking Boogie are like the holy trinity of what the fuck happened.
Yeah, like, geez. And somehow it's a weird corollary to the Hollywood nonsense, right? That, oh, guess what? If you just become famous and a little bit famous and a little bit wealthy, it immediately turns into degenerate,
They're just
disgusting
some
horseshit.
dudes that can't handle their high, and they become these freaks whenever they're given that kind of power, and it's very corruptive sort of power, and they turn into sub club. One for me, one for the whore. One
Like,
for me, one for the whore.
don't get me wrong, like, I love hookers and blow as much as the next man, but that's just fucking off the deep end. Like,
Did you hear that anecdote? I think I saw it on the Medicare stream that it was such a horrible experience, the hooker banging Boogie, that she quit the business. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
like, yeah, that's it. Was it just because he's like so big and gross, or was he terrible to her?
I think a combination of the two.
Wow.
He is, you know, that Francis character that he plays?
I don't, but go on.
Okay, so he has this character named Francis that is just a sort of a piece of shit that he played in some of his old videos. And it was a character that he allegedly created as a contrast to the real sweet teddy bear sort of kind of guy that he was portraying himself to be. Well, it kind of turns out, no, he was closer to Francis than he was to the persona that he was putting out in some of those videos. And at the time, I was fooled by the whole Boogie thing, and I said some shit about him on Discord like years ago, and I kind of felt bad about that because, well, I thought Boogie was a kind of a stand-up guy, and it was like, I think it was in the aftermath of the whole Sarkeesian thing, where was it Anita Sarkeesian, where she went after him at like VidCon or something like that? And
I know she went after what's his name, Sargon.
Yeah. I think it was at the same. It was at the same event that she went after Boogie too, because something Boogie said. I can't remember what the fuck it was, but I thought he went out kind of like a bitch. So I said that essentially on Discord, and after that I was kind of apologetic about, well, maybe Boogie's a real nice guy, and so on and so forth. But no, I should have stuck with my guns then. Because it did turn out that Boogie 2988 was a complete lying piece of shit. So I am glad I never became I became such a huge fucking jackass that I sit around enjoying the smell of my own farts like these guys apparently do. So big off on their personalities. Like, I don't know. I hopefully I'm not that guy that I'll ever have to confront that within myself. I hope if I become that egotistical piece of shit, you, Craig Pox, you have my full permission to knock me down a few pegs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have an addictive personality and a degenerate streak in me. On the other hand, I don't really deny it, so maybe I wouldn't go overboard if suddenly I had some kind of access. But who knows, right? Because
Well, hey, you're upfront about that shit. I don't think any of these other three guys were upfront about this shit at all. We just found out how big a piece of shit they were when they started snorting and horting.
Well, what's that thing that again? Sorry, Pox. Jordan Peterson talking about having zero power to do a bad thing doesn't make you virtuous. It just makes you harmless. And then having been harmless all of that time because you simply don't have the capability of doing anything wrong, then suddenly having the power to do something wrong, maybe you lose your shit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You become Boogie 2988 and you become a P. Diddy. That's just human nature. Fucked up things sometimes.
Well, I mean, I like a drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a smoke, maybe a mushroom. My DMT vape pen. I haven't done any of that shit since, well, I mean, the other three I haven't done for quite some time, but I haven't had a drink since August, like the last time at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason in particular. It just sort of popped in my head. No, not until my sister's wedding. And since that's such an easy thing, like, oh, I could just go to the liquor store and have some drinks on a, Friday night like I usually do. I don't know if that's is that a sign that if I had that capacity, some sort of popularity and wealth, that I would be able to avoid that degenerate hole? I don't know.
Well, I put people in two categories. There are those that can handle their high, and then there's those that can't. And you strike me as one of the kind of guys that can handle the high.
Until I can't. No, do you ever watch that show Supernatural?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, it's pretty cool. There's it's all this weird, like, it starts off as like a Monster of the Week show, but then it ends up being like Christian Lori, and like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are coming, and what is it? Famine is one of the horsemen, and everyone in the area is like starved for something, not necessarily food. Like the people that are starved for love, and they end up like fucking each other to death, basically. Right. And other people, the guy, he's an alcoholic, but he hasn't had a drink in 12 years. And the next thing you know, he's drinking himself to death. And everybody is affected by this except this one character. And someone's saying, how come you're not affected by it? He's like, look, when I'm hungry, I eat, right? When I'm thirsty, I go for a drink. When I'm horny, I go get laid. It's like, what are you saying? You're well adjusted? He says, no, I'm just well fed.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully, I'm well fed. Let's.
There you go. So I must admit, I could eat an entire pecan pie right now.
Yeah, that's part of my problem with circling back to the WAGMI thing. Pardon me. I had lost a lot of weight, and I realized my problem is that I have the appetite of a guy who's way bigger than I am.
Oh yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like I could just eat and eat. Like, do you have Pizza Nova?
I don't have Pizza Nova. I have Marco's. I guess that's the nearest equivalent.
Okay, just because like they have a party-sized pizza, they call it. It's like 24 slices of pizza. It's almost 2 feet long by 1.5 feet wide, right? Left to my own devices, I can eat the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Like I can sit down and eat that entire and it's like, oh, no wonder I gained fucking 60 pounds since high school and shit. Like,
oh yeah. An extra large pizza is no problem for me.
Yeah. So, just yeah.
I don't know what that had to do with anything, but just, mind your appetites, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Destiny sucked a dick.
Yeah.
But like,
Make a long story short.
If there's a video of someone sucking a dick, you know that they must have sucked dozens, if not hundreds, of dicks. Like, you don't get to taking video of it till you've been doing it for a hell of a long time.
You don't get the first time out video.
Yeah, that's
this is years down the road. He has gobbled a lot of Yes,
he's gobbled a lot of stone.
He has made the rounds.
All right, let's bring it back here. So the title, this was wonderful. We were reminiscing there about what's his name, Elon Musk, that what he had done was just come out and ask about Twitter, right? He'd said, "Oh, I fucking love Twitter," and someone said, "Yeah, you should buy it," and he said, "How much is it?" And the next thing you know, he's buying Twitter. So this was something I thought was just great, that he's now saying exactly what I was wishing. Was it last week before?
Mm-hmm.
How much is Hasbro? That yes, he is interested in perhaps buying Dungeons and Dragons.
There you go.
The whole Hasbro brand, just to protect Dungeons and Dragons intellectual properties and stuff. It's just fucking hilarious. Because when this guy says how much is it, he's buying it.
Yeah.
He's just gonna buy. Like, he bought Twitter for $44 billion when it was only worth about 20 something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he streamlined the shit out of it. And while we're talking about this, he fired 80% of the Twitter staff?
It was closer to 90, yeah.
Closer to 90. And it still ran without a hitch.
Mm-hmm.
And now he and Vivek are going to be in charge. Well, not completely in charge, but they're going to have some oversight of government spending. Isn't that going to be wild that they may be able to slash up to 80-90% of government employees and still keep the government running smooth?
I don't know if I have enough money for the amount of popcorn I'm going to need to watch that show.
I know.
That's next year is going to be next year is going to be lit. Holy shit.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that he does buy Hasbro. Yeah. Fire a bunch of the woke people involved, and we can get back to legit games.
Where get past the era of orcs or black people.
And I was thinking about this. We should reinvent a Dungeons and Dragons type game and just make it as blatantly racist as possible, while absolutely ruining all stereotypes by mixing them wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Like a race of people called the Bracks. BRAX. All right. A highly intelligent, truly evil people that want to dominate the world by controlling its financial system.
It was like maybe about a month ago. You had said something to the effect of the orcs aren't the black people. They're the some other group. And
Jews, yeah.
And the humans are the Mexicans.
Yeah. That was Craig's. That was Craig's input.
That was funny. Oh boy.
No, but I mean, honestly, all of those things that we were discussing and this made up race I just did now, none of it is as ridiculous as some of the actual woke theory and articles written.
like I still remember the one. I wish I had it somewhere that I could post it up
Yeah.
for you. A literal article published in a prominent, like a well-established online paper. Straight black men are the white people of black people. That was the headline. Like,
well, once you understand the foundations, the origins of a lot of this mindset, this mentality, this philosophy, this overarching worldview comes from Frankfurt School, critical theory, cultural Marxism. When you understand where this shit comes from, you can see a lot of how their opinions are formed, because it is so based on that type of garbage.
yes, yeah. Frankfurt School started in what, 1930s Germany?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah. Coincident. Quinkydinks.
But not by Germans. It's fucking weird. But yeah, no, you should come. You should come play some sort of tabletop with us when we get back on track with that. I'm getting my core book probably in a couple of weeks. For my game, these guys like Shadowrun, and Craig actually invented his own RPG, but I like Riffs because apparently I like it crunchy.
Well, when you guys read some of my stuff, I'd be very keenly interested in hearing your all's opinion about some of the stuff that I've written in the context of what Elon's looking to purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, your D&D is very fantasy. This is what you've written is very sci-fi.
Parts of it are.
Okay.
Like, you'll see. You'll see. You will see on Wednesday. You will see.
Yeah. No, my copy's coming.
Yeah. So on Wednesday, I don't want to spoil too much right now because I want to kind of it be an organic sort of discovery, but you'll see.
Well, now I'm getting excited.
Let's just say my approach to my lore is very open-minded.
See, that could mean anything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It can. But you will see on Wednesday.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. What else we got for topics?
Well, hey, you know what? We've already covered a whole hell of a lot that I wanted to talk about anyway. But there is one thing that I wanted to talk about, and you kind of might have noticed this already with my Twitter feed, the kind of shit that I've been posting all week, insofar as it pertains to other streams and promotion thereof. There's a certain theme throughout all of them. I don't know if you noticed.
Well, you've been making a lot of AI pictures for the streams, and strangely, there's almost always cars involved.
Yeah.
Is that am I close? Am I certain?
I always it's kind of my shtick. I always add like, oh, and standing next to a car.
Okay.
So that's always in the prompt. I don't know. It just seems cool to me. It's the cool factor. It's like freaking Steve McQueen in the green Mustang. It's like standing next to a car.
Of course, AI thinks that all cars are Kias unless they're American.
Oh, yeah. And they're flying through the air and shit. It's like, okay, that's interesting interpretation, but I'll take it. But the theme that I've been running with is, of course, UFOs.
Okay.
And I was mentioned that in chat the other day. Rather interesting bit of creepypasta sort of ish stuff that I've run into recently. And that is this guy who works with like Fortune 500 companies, has his predictive model program that he came up with like in 2009. And for whatever reason, it was able to predict that Joe Rogan would interview Donald Trump. And this was before Joe Rogan's show was even a thing.
Right, right.
And there was something else attached to that. That 39 days after this interview, there would be like a dog fight, a giant dog fight between the U.S. military or some military, UFOs, and UFOs against other UFOs. So there was going to be like this big, massive dog fight that was supposed to go down 39 days after that. And that day is Tuesday.
Oh no, that's going to interrupt my book getting to my.
Well, see, you can watch the alien dogfight, and then the next day you can enjoy a nice book.
See, but okay, so I still have questions about this guy's predictive model, because what else did it predict, and how accurate has it been, right?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. That's
because even if every other thing was wrong, that blind stab in the dark of Joe Rogan would interview Donald Trump on a Joe Rogan show that didn't exist is a pretty fucking good one. Like,
yeah,
every other thing is wrong, but that happened.
Yeah, this is kind of like if it's just the prediction was, oh, Joe Rogan's going to interview Donald Trump. Also, Destiny's going to suck. This is on video. Oh, now, yeah, it's So you have a point there. So we could be watching an interesting intergalactic battle on Tuesday, or not. Either way, you're getting my book on Wednesday, and that makes me happy.
Well, see, like, we're not the only ones to talk about like the alternate timeline. There are some legit people that refer to the things as an potential alternate timelines, and the big ones that would have severely changed the whole of the world for periods of time. Like, was it July 13th?
Yeah,
that was a big day, right? Like, quarter head turn, eighth of a head turn difference, we'd be living in a very different world, right? Like, it's a major timeline shift. And so maybe these predictive models are having trouble keeping up because of different timeline changes, but I don't know if the timeline changes are random, right? People will say, oh yeah, they fired up the Large Hadron Collider and it tore a hole in space-time, and that's why we have these timeline shifts and Mandela effects. But I don't think that would be enough. If they had done that, it would just be that, and that's the universe in which we'd live.
Have you heard of
combine it. You have to combine it with.
Yeah.
No, go on.
Have you heard of the Stargate?
Well, I mean, I know the movie Stargate and the show.
Okay. So the Stargate is a part of a kind of technology, of ancient technology, that allegedly the military has been running into for quite a while now. Interestingly enough, damn, I don't want to spoil too much because you have to read my book. But there was the Stargate, along with things like the Manhattan Project, just in Nikola Tesla's stuff. The Stargate was something that allegedly was found in Baghdad during, I can't remember if it was the first Gulf War or the second, during the Bush Jr. years. but they allegedly found some piece of technology which allowed them to essentially jump from one place on Earth to another through this gate. And there's another story about something that has been used since like the early 20th century that essentially is able to give people the same ability to teleport from one part of the Earth to the other. And not just that, but also in time.
Okay. Yeah. See, and this was what I was getting at, right? If it was just CERN experiments could alter timelines and alter events, that would be all we know.
Yeah.
Someone has to be fighting them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and my theory was my favorite conspiracy theory, next to JFK's head just did that. In the future, Barron Trump will have invented time travel. Right. So the CERN group has been trying to stop Donald Trump, but Barron Trump has been coming back from the future to intervene. Right. So that's why you have all these mixed up timelines and crossovers, and like why everything seems to be so fucking weird and so many memes are coming to life, because that information is being brought from the future, ends up memeing its way through our reality, and then it seems that the meme has become reality, but really the reality created the meme in the future, and then the meme was brought back.
Bootstrap theory.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's an interesting tidbit of information that may shed some light on this whole situation. So back in what was the 40s or 50s, whenever Nikola Tesla died, he left a lot of his old crap in his place. One of the people that was assigned to go and pick that stuff up was none other than uncle of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yes, all right. But no one has been smart enough to decipher where he was going with his theoretical stuff until Barron. Apparently, this giant 6'9", like, what is he, 19, 20 years old now?
Yeah.
Is also a fucking turbo genius. Like, off the charts intelligent.
Yep.
And it's like it was handed down to him, and he's going to be the one that in the future has finished that research, figured out the Tesla vibrational fucking, what is it? What's the numbers thing?
Fibonacci?
No. He has this like diamond shape of the numbers and how they all sort of intersect in weird ways, and there's different vibrations on the number. Like,
what is that called?
I can't remember.
I kind of touch on something very similar in my books.
But there's like 369, 258, 147 are all like these different vibrational patterns, and those numbers are related to each other in strange ways that are actually like the lattice work of reality and all that, right? And it's going to be Barron that figured it out, and now you have these time traveling fighters trying to control the timeline.
So I have sort of an additional theory to that, is that one of the reasons why Donald Trump has been married so many times is that he's been building a team.
He's been breeding a team.
Don Jr., Eric, Tiffany, and Ivanka are all part of this super genius team that he's been breeding. And Barron is just the latest piece of the puzzle.
Wild.
I shall procreate the Avengers. It'll be the most spectacular thing anybody's ever seen. The most amazing thing, of course, is just nothing ever has been as awesome as that before in the history of the world.
Oh, strange that you brought this up, because as soon as you said it, I was like, no, not the Avengers. He's breeding the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because I finally watched that Wolverine Deadpool crossover movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, okay, it's fun, I guess, but it wasn't like a good movie. And so I did reminisce, because spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't seen this yet, they do bring up a whole lot of the past Marvel X-Men Spider-Man films, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like now that they're all sort of under one umbrella. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember those guys. I should go back and watch the X-Men movies. And I've been watching the X-Men stuff, and I'm looking back going, these were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I didn't appreciate them nearly as much as I should have, because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at the time, they were great. We loved them, but we also started nitpicking some of the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And we nitpicked so much that I think for all of the little things that we thought were wrong with it, we sort of maybe forgot or overlooked, at least I did, that overall these were great.
Yeah.
And now in a lot of the, especially like the MCU stuff, especially later in the MCU, there's a lot of little things that are great. And overall, they're bad movies. Like,
Yeah.
right? So we made the wrong trade here, because we were nitpicking those little things. Like, I remember thinking, man, that third X-Men movie, X-Men Last Stand, oh, it was fucking garbage. No, it's way better than most of the fucking MCU shit.
Yeah. And and you also have to realize that even the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies are like Oscar worthy in comparison to films like the Marvels.
Oh God. Yeah, like I actually really liked Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker, and you know,
I have all the Spider-Man movies to date on Blu-ray. And
nice.
so yeah, I watch. I even kind of like that third Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It was the worst version of Venom that they could possibly come up with, but
yeah, see, that I think was the problem at the time, was nobody had it in their heads yet. Let's build an entire universe and do serial movies forever.
right.
It's like, no, we'll never justify making more than 3. So here we are in the third one. We've got to cram in all of this stuff we haven't done yet.
And that's a pet peeve of mine when it
Yeah.
comes to superhero movies, is that for when you lack that cinematic universe, there's a formula. First movie, the protagonist always has one antagonist. Second movie, the protagonist has 2 antagonists. You see that time and time again. And by the third movie, you could have two or more antagonists, because the stakes must be raised and so on and so forth, because of a lack of a cinematic universe where you could start up and then slow down, start up and then slow down, start up and slow down. Because you have all these other franchises that can pick up the slack, allowing that other franchise to do their slow down and do their kind of their Winter Soldier movie instead of Avengers Endgame, like every other installment.
Yeah. But yeah, like, where was I going? No, yeah, they didn't think they were going to build whole universes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after those 3 X-Men movies, they had to basically like recreate the X-Men with First Class.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, this is a completely different universe. It's just a different X-Men story, right? Because if you watch then the what's his name there? Not Ewan McGregor. Why the fuck do I want to call him Ewan McGregor? Who's the young Professor Xavier?
What the fuck is his name?
Yeah. See, I said Ewan McGregor, and now his name is lost forever.
Yeah, you Obi-Wan Kenobi me there. Kenobi. No.
But you know who I
This
mean.
guy's. Yeah, that guy. That guy.
If you watch those 3 movies, the way they, especially Days of Future Past, the first X-Men movies didn't happen. They're gone.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So like they really altered everything just to make sure, like, sort of, or maybe they didn't do it on purpose, but it's like it's a completely separate existence, which is sort of the only good thing about the Deadpool Wolverine movie, is they basically visit what is now the Disney trash can.
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah, and like all the like sort of forgotten and dismissed characters from Marvel movies that weren't MCU movies all exist in this strange universe.
Yeah.
Right, where they've just been shoved to be hidden away forever. And yeah. But then see, this was their opportunity to do the Flashpoint paradox on film.
Yeah.
And they didn't take it.
Nope.
And I was really upset. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. What you're going to do is you're going to suddenly destroy all of these timelines and start again with your fresh Disney, Fox, and Sony all on board for one universe from the beginning. And they didn't fucking do it.
No.
Because they'd have to reboot everything. And, you know, I know that seems like, oh, everyone just fucking remakes old movies. But I mean, I think it would be very interesting to see how they do it, at least.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some crazy ideas people have for casting for a whole new reboot of all these characters. So
I still can't remember that guy's name. Fuck.
Tim, no. James?
No. McAvoy.
Yeah.
James McAvoy. Son of a bitch. Why couldn't I think of that? I got McGregor.
Yeah, good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great in those M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Yeah. And he was first thing that I ever saw him in was Children of Dune, the made for TV sequel. Do you remember in, what was it, the 90s or 2000s? They made the Dune as a mini series on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Actually, no. I don't recall.
It was really good.
Oh.
So you can check that out. And they made a sequel series, a mini series called Children of Dune. And that was the first time that I saw James McAvoy, and I was like, this kid's a really good actor. I know he's going to be doing great things in the future. And I was right.
Yeah, the first time that I saw him was in a movie called Last King of Scotland, or at least that's the first time I remember him.
Yeah, with what was it, Idi Amin?
Yeah. And that was actually a really good movie. Because at the time, nobody knew what he was up to, Idi Amin.
Mm-hmm.
That he, no, I am not genociding anyone.
He was killing everybody. Holy shit.
Yeah. And McAvoy is his doctor, like his personal doctor.
Yeah.
Because he can't trust anyone, because he's, everyone's trying to murder him because he's a fucking despot and shit. So he needs to hire a doctor from outside the country who won't murder him.
I like that little bit. He was going to whack him, but he saw he was wearing a Scotland t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he loved the Scottish history, the history of Scottish kings or something.
Yeah, he was actually he'd actually spent some time in the UK, and the people that were nicest to him were the Scottish soldiers.
Which is weird because Scots aren't nice to anyone, not even other Scots.
Yeah. So I gotta love watching old Dankula, his videos.
Yeah, I haven't seen a good Mad Lads in a while. But hey, hold on. Casting ideas. Whole new universe. All the Marvel in one place. Avengers, X-Men, Spider-Man, every obscure thing. Now it's all under one banner. Dream casting for your favorite character, obscure character, whatever. Go.
That's a damn good question. Let's see. You kind of caught me on the spot here. I would get rid of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel and get what was her name from Battlestar Galactica?
Oh,
Who played Starbuck?
the tall blonde one who's in that weird. She's always in the sci-fi series.
Yeah,
And she was in a Riddick
Katie
movie?
Sackhoff.
That's the one.
Yeah, recast Captain Marvel, but use Katie Sackhoff instead.
She's weird hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like the hot tomboy.
She's pretty fucking beefy. Like she's a
Yeah.
lady.
You wouldn't want her to punch you in the face.
Mm-mm.
Unless that was your thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Which I would be open to it if it was her, but
Now Destiny's getting wet thinking about her punching him in the balls.
So yeah, that would be my first one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
The Hulk, I would bring back Eric Bana.
Huh. Okay. All right. See, like
give him a better shot at it than he got in the 2003 film.
Because yeah, he just got a shit movie was all, right?
Yeah.
See, now there's a weird thing about casting for Hulk, right? Is that you're actually casting for Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
And as much as I might not like the man, Mark Ruffalo, I did like his Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
His Bruce Banner was really good. One of the things that I really liked about it was at all times, he's doing this.
Yeah.
He's always just wringing his hands, right? Because like it's just it shows really nicely because that's what you have to play. The Hulk is simple enough, I guess, as an actor. You just be angry, right?
Yeah.
But how do you quietly be angry? And the wringing of the hands was a nice touch. I'll give him that one.
Yeah.
See, but then also in my head, Eric Bana's pretty fucking buff, right? Like,
yeah.
You have to sort of hide that. You don't want Banner.
He would be wearing a lot of long sleeve shirts and jackets.
Yeah.
And he's a bit taller than Mark Ruffalo. So you'd have to be creative with what angles.
See,
I do some trickery there.
Yeah, like he's got to come off as a little nerdy and unassuming, right? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Like, I don't know how much height would be. Like, how tall is Eric Bana? He's not like 6'4", 6'5", is he?
He's a bit on. Let me check.
Because as long as he's like a normal-ish height, where you don't go, "Wow, that guy's really fucking tall," I'm sure it's fine.
He's 6'2".
That's pretty tall.
Yeah, and Mark Ruffalo
5'9".
5'8". So he's significantly taller than Mark Ruffalo. So in my mind, that's the first two. I'd have to think about it a little longer for a lot of these other things.
Sure, yeah, of course. I mean, you know why? Because like I'm 40 something. All the actors I know are 40 something, and I don't even
Yeah.
think of some of the young, like 19 to 25-year-old actors. I don't even
Yeah.
like know them. I'm like, who? Literally
This,
who?
yeah, this would be a better question to ask 10 years ago.
I mean, see, but it's because I keep coming back to one thing because I heard the rumor of it and I really want it to be true.
Yeah.
Wolverine, Daniel Radcliffe.
That would be an interesting, and it could work. And the reason why is probably going to astonish you, because I own a Blu-ray copy of Weird, the Weird Al Yankovic story.
And he got jacked for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a surreal. It is, I would have to say it's probably his best work.
See, now I am strangely a Daniel Radcliffe fan. Not for any of his legit movies or for Harry Potter. But he's been doing this thing where, uh-oh, I've lost 6. He's been doing this thing where he'll do one fairly serious movie followed by one weird, artsy, out there just for fun movie. And he was in a movie called Horns. He's back. I was just talking about how Daniel Radcliffe does one serious movie, one fun movie, basically. And he was in a weird movie called Horns, which I absolutely loved. You have to watch it. I can't explain it. He's in another movie called Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man is fucking wild. There is like a shipwreck, and a guy is trapped on an island with a dead body.
Yeah.
And the dead body talks to him, and he talks to the dead body, right? So it's sort of like Wilson in Castaway, except it's a human body that talks back. And the dead body is Daniel Radcliffe.
Awesome.
So I've seen him in a lot of weird roles, and he's like he didn't just sit on his laurels as I'm Harry Potter famous, I have Harry Potter money. He's really been like establishing himself as a legit actor who can do whatever the fuck he wants. He even does stage work, right?
Yeah.
And I think based on the Weird Al jackedness, that you put fucking lamb chops on that guy, mess up his hair, and just let him chew the scenery of being fucking ferocious because he is small, right?
Yeah.
And Wolverine's not big; he's ferocious. He's just
canonically, that they're very close in height. What the height is in the comics, and Daniel Radcliffe's actual height. He's actually like slightly taller than Wolverine would be in real life if he was comics accurate.
Yeah, because Daniel Radcliffe is what, 5'6", 5'7", something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and where Hugh Jackman was 6'2". See, that's one of the things we picked on when those movies first came out. 6'2", like Hugh Jackman. Wolverine's 5'3". But see, yeah, Daniel Radcliffe, like the tiny guy who's just like the wild weasel with these fucking claws covered it, right? And he's just vicious. Like, yeah, I can see him pulling it off. I can see him do like the tiny little guy.
He's got the range because
what's that?
Two roles in particular, two contrasting roles in particular. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it was a horror movie that he did a number of years ago. It was one of those sort of ghost stories where there's this house on this sort of very small island that's separated by this waterway that has an ebb and flow where it floods out for a period of time and then it's dry for a period of time. And there's this
what's
this
it called?
Haunting.
Is it The Woman in White or something?
I think so, something like that. Yeah, they made two of them. and that the first one was the one he was in. So I've seen what he can do in that one, and it's like one end of the spectrum, and at the end of the spectrum, it's him just losing his mind as Weird Al. So yeah, I can see that. I can see that. We have like a Venn diagram, that movie, and whatever.
And
yeah.
Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Guns Akimbo, you should watch Guns Akimbo.
That's the one where he has the guns that are attached to his hands and he can't let go.
They have the guy's heart like drilled them into his bones. And he's running around in his fucking bathrobe and his fuzzy slippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
For everybody in the chat, and everybody that's listening after this, you will thank me later. Go to Amazon or wherever you like to buy your DVDs and the Blu-rays and get the Weird Al Yankovic story. You will thank me later. It is that mind-blowing of a performance.
So anybody else for roles in this new universe that they didn't fucking create when they had the chance?
Let's see. Okay, so
like, okay, how about some staples? Who would make a good rogue?
Oh, what's her face? So I'm bad with names of young actresses anymore. What the hell was she in?
Because suddenly it just popped in my head. Ariel Winter.
Okay, I can see that.
Just powwowing. I'm not married to that idea, but why not?
There you go.
Right, because Rogue is supposed to be pretty juicy and have a lot of hair. That's where we start. That's where we're casting. We're casting for type.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. It would be much better doing this if I knew the names of some of these actresses. British actress that would make a great Psylocke. The fuck was her name though?
What was she in?
Okay. You know that what was it called? Oh, Peregrines something or other.
School for Magical Children or something?
Yeah. She played the Wind chick. The one that had to wear the lead shoes. That
I don't think I actually saw that, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, not the one from Fallout.
Is she in Fallout?
I don't know. I'm just seeing Ella Purnell's name come up in the cast.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, if that's who that is, that I would cast her as Psylocke.
Not too shabby.
She has kind of big eyes.
Yeah. Okay, that's Ella. Did you not watch Fallout?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. Fallout is like one of the few things lately that's actually been, as far as I can tell, perfect. It may not be for everyone in terms of like, setting, theme, genre, whatever, but there's literally no fat on it. Like there's nothing wasted.
Funny you should say that. If we're casting Shadowcat, there is a perfect actress in this show that's based on One Piece, live action.
Yeah. I saw the live action One Piece.
Yeah, what's the name of the character? The redhead chick.
Yeah. I know the actress off the top. Like I know her face. You have her Kitty Pryde, eh?
Yeah.
All right. And not as Jean Grey. Okay.
No, as Kitty Pryde. Dye her hair brown.
Sure. I'm pretty sure it's not that weird orange color in real life anyway.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's fucking cute, that one.
Yeah. She in that aspect of her would play that character very well. Let's see.
Nice picks.
So name a character.
Okay, we got to get some big ones in here. How about Magneto?
Magneto?
Yeah. I know both the guys who played Magneto did beautiful fucking jobs with Magneto. Yeah. With the lines they were given, they worked some real magic there.
Yeah, before Colin Farrell did the Penguin, I would have said Colin Farrell.
You know, he doesn't actually look like that. That's makeup, right?
Right.
So he can
yeah.
still be
But he disappears into that makeup so effectively. It's mind-boggling.
I know. I've showed people like scenes from the movie. I'm like, who's that? They're like, I don't know. That's Colin Farrell. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Yeah. and even more so in the TV series, he ratchets up to like a whole other level. If this guy doesn't win an Emmy for this role, yeah, that does it for me as far as the credibility of the Emmy Awards.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he is fucking shoe-in. So someone else other than Colin Farrell. It's hard because a lot of the people that I would otherwise pick have played other roles in comic book films. But you know what? Let's go to a different gear and a completely different kind of different outlook on Magneto. Get somebody like Matthew McConaughey.
I'm not mad at that.
And really dial into the sinister aspects. If you've seen some of his bad guy roles, take say his role as the bad guy in the Dark Tower, and you mix it with his crazy ass guy from Reign of Fire.
Ooh, mix in a little of the quiet but sinister subtlety of the good bad guy in Frailty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, because it's great because he is getting older, but he's not old.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the perfect range for Magneto.
Yeah.
That's a really good pick, bro.
Fucking Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Just gonna pull the adamantium off your skeleton.
Okay.
And
again, another one.
Professor X. Like, I mean, again, both guys who played him did beautiful jobs with him, right?
Professor X. Let's see. That's a bit of a tougher nut to crack, but
just as a joke, I'm thinking Brad Pitt. That way we can make him shave his head again.
That'd be funny. How about Christopher Eccleston?
I know the name, but I can't picture his face.
He played the Ninth Doctor in Doctor Who. He's got really weird ears, which would be a bit distracting, but his performance would be great.
He's been in some stuff. I can see him. For some reason, while I search his name, I'm also getting movies with Nicolas Cage in them, and I'm like, nope, it's not Nicolas Cage.
No. Great ghostwriter, but in fact, I'd bring his ass back as Johnny Blaze.
No shit, eh?
Ghostwriter, yeah. And if Marvel wants to go with a new approach, they can do the Danny Ketch character, who is the second, and have them both be Ghost Rider at the same time.
Okay. All right. Wait, but who's who would be the new one?
Danny Ketch.
Was that an actor? That's the character name.
That's the character name.
So who would play it?
Oh, that's a great question. You know what? Rupert Grint.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he supposed to be a ginger, like Jimmy Olsen looking motherfucker?
Let me get a picture. I'm getting a lot of his after form. Catch human form.
Because, like, how do we squeeze Ron Livingston into this?
Interesting. Let's see. I see artists depicting either brown hair or brown with reddish highlights.
Okay.
Sort of auburn. But yeah. So you get Rupert Grint, and you get him to turn up the dial like Daniel Radcliffe, and you'd have yourself a decent Danny Ketch.
Ooh, okay. I think I know who Ron Livingston could be. Tony Stark.
That's an interesting idea.
It's a hard one to replace too. Like, I mean,
yeah. You would have to really lean in on that. Really have to lean in on that Office Space sort of geeky, nerdy. He instead of the arrogant, full of himself playboy, he'd have to really dial into the more the Elon sort of a aspect.
Yeah. But what's his face has done such a good job that like replacing him is going to be wild, and I think you have to go a little bit out there.
Yeah.
To do it, like it's got to be so different that people are shocked by it, and then they'll just accept it.
Yeah.
Because you can't really replace what's his fucking name? Why can't I remember his name now?
Oh, for which character?
Iron Man.
Oh, Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Right? You can't really replace him, so you just have to sort of do something different.
Yeah. But try not to do what. So Miles Teller would actually be a good actor for a lot of different roles. Miles Teller would make, I kid you not, like a younger version of Hank Pym.
Oh, yeah.
He could be Hank Pym's version of Ant-Man, but younger.
I just had a wild thought.
What's that?
And it's terrible because Matthew McConaughey was such a good pick. Mads Mikkelsen as Magneto.
Okay. So
he's got just enough accent,
Yeah. So McConaughey McConaughey might actually be a good candidate for a kind of a radical reinterpretation of Mr. Sinister.
Ooh. Yeah, because that's something. Mr. Sinister's way out there, so like the live action movies don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Right. Where did you watch the cartoon X-Men 97?
I didn't.
It sort of just picks up where the original cartoon left off. Like it was like one season of cartoon that just stopped.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was that released in 96, and that's why they've called this cartoon X-Men 97.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And yeah, Mr. Sinister is in it, right? So yeah, but it's hard to do that believably in a live action, even though everything's already so weird and off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I remember him from the comics, so yeah, I'm trying to put McConaughey into a role that has the same sort of level of gravitas as Magneto, and
yeah.
Mr. Sinister would be like second after that. McConaughey is one of these kind of guys where like his personal politics I'm not much of a fan of, but the actor himself and the shit that he does on screen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, isn't he a fellow Texan?
He is. He was actually, you know where San Antonio is?
Yeah.
You drive about 45 minutes west of San Antonio, you're gonna run into a little town called Uvalde.
Yeah.
That's where he's from. I haven't been to Uvalde in fuck, how long ago was that? 30 years ago?
Wow.
Long time. A long time since I've been out that far. But yeah, Uvalde's really close to where I live.
Yeah, fuck. No, I remember hearing something about he was being interviewed by someone because he lives in Uvalde, and they were trying to get him to say certain political stuff, and he was sort of dancing around it and not saying the anti-gun Democrat talking points, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really know what his personal politics are. You might have a better idea, but I was like, well, he's a Texan.
Yeah.
Like he's who's to say? Who's to know?
Now, speaking of local actors, I haven't run into him myself, but a lot of people that I know have actually run into him. But Tommy Lee Jones actually lives not too far from where I live, and people run into him from time to time. He's as regular a dude as you would just run into. It's like if you didn't know that was Tommy Lee Jones, you're just like, oh, it's that guy.
That guy looks just like Tommy Lee Jones.
Have like a whole entire conversation, not realize, this is Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, he comes, he does that. So let's see. Kind of that's another tough one because I want to put him into a role that he would just explode in. And
do you know the name Wade Goggins? Is that the right name?
Yeah, Wade Goggins.
He's got to be a bad guy.
Oh yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's already been in an MCU movie.
Was he?
I think he may have played one of the bad guys in the second Ant-Man movie.
Really? Why don't I recall?
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
First time I ran into him, the actor, was, or at least the first time I remember him, was that TV show Justified.
Didn't see it.
Yeah. Basically, Timothy Oliphant didn't want Deadwood to end, and he wanted to be his character from Deadwood. So they made a whole new show in the modern era where he gets to be like an old west type sheriff in the modern day. And his antagonist is played by Wade Goggins.
So it's Walton Goggins, actually.
Walton Goggins, there it is. Sorry, yeah.
And he played a character called Sonny Birch in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Huh.
But yeah, I agree. Great actor. The first time that I ever saw him was in that really strange Predator sequel.
They were all strange.
Yeah, well, this one was, yeah, true.
Is it the one where they dump them on the planet and they're all
Yeah.
killers?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was actually decent.
It was very underrated.
Yeah.
There was a comic book sequel to it that I never read.
Yeah, apparently there's like a crazy amount of comic book lore for AVP and the whole AVP universe, right?
Yeah.
And all very cool stuff.
So I remember getting, it was what, back in the 90s, I think I got, is back when the whole Alien versus Predator thing was just starting up. And I think it was maybe the second or third issue of that particular series that I picked up and had a look at it, and never really revisited the series after that. It was about the same time that they put out that video game, the arcade game, Alien versus Predator. Am I remembering that right?
I don't recall.
There's some kind of game that was Alien versus Predator. And I think this comic was released around the same time, if I'm remembering that right. I'm probably remembering that wrong, but anyway.
Who knows? Way off topic, but I just noticed something weird. So I remember people were all freaked out about Donald Trump assassination and the time at which it happened, that it was 6/11, and they were pulling out Ephesians 6:11, put on the whole armor of God.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed that I'm sitting at a subscriber count of 611. What? Huh? 611. I know that. I know that number.
So,
but hey, we're over 2 hours here. We should probably move on to final thoughts. If you have any more quick topics you wanted to throw out for the last couple minutes here.
Nothing really comes to mind.
I just yeah. We're gonna call it soon. Gonna think about more actors to reboot the whole Marvel universe, because man, this is getting tricky. If we had that power,
if you give me 2 or 3 weeks to think about it, I can give you an entire cast.
I know, right? Just here's the whole dream roster.
Yeah.
Do you remember the dude who played the sergeant in Avatar?
Yeah.
He's like an older, silver-haired man, muscly as all shit.
Yeah.
When we were hearing they're going to put Cable in the movie, it's like, that's him.
Yeah.
That's Cable. That's
interestingly enough, he auditioned for that role.
And they gave it to a Brolin instead?
Yeah.
The fuck are they thinking?
I don't know.
It's all right. It wasn't a particularly good movie anyway. So yeah, during in your in-between times from writing, after you do a couple push-ups, just keep your list handy for your what are we going to call it? The reconstituted Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll get you back on if you have some time, and we'll further discuss casting as if we had a say.
Will do. Will do.
All right. Thanks everyone for sticking it out. We're gonna call it a night. And next week, I think Craig is back in town, so he'll be hosting Ammunition. Links to all of that stuff, including Six's Twitter, X, and YouTube, in the description. And we'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
I will have an